This week's show made possible by Trinity Multisports, the technically superior clothing for the multisport athlete who demands performance. I'll tell you a little bit more about Trinity Multisports later on in the show. In this week's show, train your body, train your mind. A big organization, big on triathlon, and the Tri-Vegan Triumph Triathlete. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Ruben Austria, founder of TriumphTriathlon.com, an inspired community of triathletes inspiring others. I have another great show for you this week. It's going to be awesome. The quote of the week: if the body be feeble, the mind not be strong. This week's topic is all about the mind-body connection, a connection that a lot of triathletes know very, very well, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about that today. In the news, I'll be talking about a huge organization. I can guarantee that you know who they are, but you might not be associated with them, but they're very big on triathlon these days. In this week's Triumph Triathlete of the Week, a Tri-Vegan Triumph Triathlete. I'll be telling you a little bit more about who that person is later on in the show. Let's get it on! Train your body, and train your mind. Well, is it the other way around? Train your mind, and then train your body. Now, a lot of triathletes are very, very familiar with the mind-body connection when it comes to endurance sports and running and doing all these crazy things that we as triathletes do. Now, one of my very first experiences with this mind-body connection was during my first marathon, the Dublin Marathon, 2006. What happened to me was something that happens to a ton of people when they run the marathon. I was on mile 21 or 22 of that marathon, and all of a sudden I hit the quote-unquote wall. I hit it really bad too. I mean, I was really going well for 20 miles, 21 miles, and I was just very much on pace to break 4 hours. I don't know what had happened. Maybe I was dehydrated, or maybe I just, I went out too hard, too early, but I was certainly hurting. And I was really limping the rest of the way. 22, 23, 24 miles, I really wanted to quit. I mean, it was just agonizing pain, trying to make it. I did everything I could to not quit, and at that point I just told myself, listen, hey Ruben, you made it this far, you cannot stop. You absolutely cannot stop. What is amazing is that eventually, obviously, I did finish. Not in the time that I wanted to. I ended up finishing in 4 hours and 24 minutes. My body quit, but my mind did not give up. My mind just kept going, and eventually I finished. And at that point, I was hooked on marathons. Well, a couple years later, I did get into triathlons. Again, for me, it was, getting over maybe not being able to swim and, not biking for a long time. And obviously, I had the running experience. But once I got over that, once I had my mind get over all those fears, triathlon is great because you have 4 different distances. And for me, I was terrified of the sprint distance initially, that quarter-mile swim. But once I got through that, the next step up was the Olympic, the 0.9-mile swim. And really it was just the easy progression, training my mind and my body to support each other and keep on moving up a level. After doing the 0.9-mile Olympic swim, it was very, very easy for me to jump to the 1.2-mile half Ironman distance. From the half Ironman distance to the full Ironman distance, well, I don't know exactly how that happened. Maybe I'm just not afraid of anything anymore. What's great about that mind-body connection is that, in triathlon and endurance sports in general, you're just training, you're training your mind to reach higher limits, higher possibilities, and at the same time your body is coming along for the ride, or vice versa. You're training your body to reach these higher limits, these higher possibilities, and your mind is coming along for the ride. So in both instances, you're just elevating your game up that many levels. Mind, body, mind, body, mind, body, and it's just amazing. You can take that back into your, in my own life. The triathlon is just a perfect fit because I have such a crazy, ridiculous schedule, and this is so much work for me to do as a self-employed real estate investor. And sometimes when I might have a bad day, I'm telling myself, man, I should be doing something else. I can train my mind not to give up. I can say, I can tell myself, yeah, I've been through worse things. I can survive this. This one day isn't going to define who I am. And really, that's just another example of how triathlon transcends life. So the big organization that is big on triathlon is the YMCA. That's right, the YMCA. Why the YMCA? Well, it just makes a lot of sense because the Y, every single facility they have the ability for people to swim, bike, and run. In the news, I found this article about a man named Bill Plock who did his own indoor iron distance triathlon at the YMCA in order to raise funds for his particular local YMCA. And that's just a great idea. It's just it's a great way to get people excited and about triathlon. The fact that it's indoors, it's a great way for people to see Bill, do the whole Ironman. He's obviously someone that cares about his community. And in my eyes, he's certainly a triathlete, one who inspires others. Go check out the article, it's really cool. And not only that, the Y is also doing smaller races, not just the iron distance races. In fact, there were some local triathlon races going on in my local YMCA today, as a matter of fact. So don't be surprised if you be hearing more about the YMCA doing triathlon events and races and fundraisers. I'd love to do one for them one day. This week's Triathlete of the Week is John Rice. John actually has a very extensive competitive mountain biking background. He's also a mountain runner. Another big thing that you'll notice about John, if you find him on triathlon.com, is that he is a vegan triathlete. He actually started his own blog, tryvegan.com. Go check it out. God knows that I need all the help I can get with my nutrition. Certainly, it wouldn't hurt if I hit up John for some advice on proper eating and proper diet. Also, another thing I'd like to mention is that John heads up the Triumph Triathlon in Central Mass. That is actually the second group that Triumph Triathlon has started locally in Massachusetts. John is helping out a lot of people, get into the sport and as well as train for the sport. So I very much applaud and give John kudos for doing that. Congrats on being the Triumph Triathlete of the Week. We appreciate you, and we hope to hear from you more on the website. Thanks again to this week's sponsor, Trinity Multisports. Technically superior clothing for the multisport athlete who demands performance. And certainly Triumph triathletes demand performance, and that is why it is perfect for Trinity Multisports to be a new sponsor for TriumphTriathlon.com. I'm very excited about this new sponsorship. Thank you very much to Trinity Multisports for your sponsorship. Please check them out on their website, and I'll make sure to add a link to that on the show notes. This week's training update, as we speak, it is March 5th, 2011, exactly 140.6 days until Ironman Lake Placid, July 24th, and I am starting a Ustream channel to make myself accountable for 1, my workouts, and 2, my diet. So certainly go check it out. I'm going to add a link below in the show notes. That's it for another week of Triumph Triathlon. Please go check us out on iTunes, subscribe, and give us a rating and a review. Hopefully you like the show, and it's only getting better. Stay tuned for more next week in Triumph Triathlon. Until then,